Hey guys, Kavalden here for one more comic review this week. Let's see here, let's get digging right into it. Tonight we will be reviewing Deadpool 28. First off, the one I've been trying to review for a while, another one of the comics I've been finally review. Metalopolis Dethklok, #1. And because it's Halloween, why not? I'm going to review a Ghostbuster comic. I love Ghostbusters. I mean, I grew up watching the show when I was a kid, so the movies and the cartoon. Both of them, but I kind of prefer the real Ghostbusters. But let's get into it. Deadpool 28. The comic's okay. It's okay in my opinion. It's kind of funny, but mostly I have to say the comic itself is very brutal. Well, I'll explain in a minute. We last left off when Deadpool got asked by Steve Rogers to team up with his group of Black Widow and Moon Knight. He was ecstatic. He thought this is what he's been looking for. Since Deadpool's been kind of on a self-journey, trying to find himself, to prove himself more of a hero. So, getting asked by the former Captain America, Steve Rogers, or still calling himself Cap, I don't know, basically was like a big thrill for him. But things have not exactly been going as well as Deadpool had hoped. See, Steve is not kind of used to Deadpool's style of handling things, so of course Steve's not too happy with him. And the running gag is built mostly Steve punching Deadpool right in the face, pretty much the whole comic. Steve basically, like I said, does not agree with Deadpool's style of doing things, and it kind of puts a wedge between the two. Let's see here. I have to say this. The most brutal part, I'll get to the brutal part. The most brutal part of the whole comic was Steve and Deadpool going at it. I mean, I was actually a little surprised Wade could actually hold his own against Rogers. I would have thought the super serum that gives him his abilities would have given him the edge, but apparently Deadpool really gives Rogers a run for his money. He actually holds his own against him, and literally, I've never seen Steve Rogers bleed so much in my life. Literally, he's getting the snot kicked out of him by Deadpool, which is actually pretty awesome. The way I think of it now, yeah, it is. Plus, as a surprise, one of Wade's old enemies from his past has come back. I won't spoil it, but it's pretty nice to see this character come back, especially since Wade's been on this little journey. So, moving on to Metalopolis Dethklok #1. I've been trying to review this comic for at least 2 weeks now. Of course, the store I go to has been out. Same with the Uncanny X-Men. Finally able to get it. I had to put it on hold. I was a little surprised to see that this comic was made. And it's really nice. The comic itself is done by Dark Horse Comics, which I think is actually a good mix, because Dark Horse is into that dark and gritty sort of style of dealing of comics. And I think in a way it was a good choice. Let me see here. Just check my notes. Actually, was it Brandon Small and Joe? I hope I'm pronouncing this. I apologize. Sheppy, Joe. Yeah, Joan Sheppy, the series creator, writers, directors. They actually wrote this comic, so it's part of, in a way. The cover I like. I like the cover. It's kind of like an album cover almost, which is really nice since you're dealing with Dethklok. You know, they're the greatest heavy metal band in the world, so of course this is pretty cool for them. Let me see here. So let me get to the basics. Dethklok, after a few hits and misses with a few of their promotion deals have fallen through, they decided to come up with their own line of frozen foods. And chain of frozen foods. So they're basically the guys who need to try to build up their revenue a little. So they try to come up with a line of frozen foods, of course, in Dethklok fashion. The artistry is kind of a little similar to the animation in this, so, I mean, it's kind of a little. I mean, there are a few scenes where it does look like it's spot on, but basically, it looks a little bit more, a little cartoony. Well, I'm saying it is a cartoon, but I'm saying more cartoon, like Looney Tunes almost, in a way, in some scenes, and other scenes that look like it are actually, look like they're from the actual, drawn from the actual show. I would have to say I wouldn't mind seeing more Adult Swim comics come out from this. I mean, because if this is actually going to be a good comic, which I think it's going to be a good comic, I like it so far. I actually wouldn't mind seeing more of Adult Swim shows getting turned into comic books, like the Venture Brothers for one. I'm a huge Venture Brothers fan, and Aqua Team Hunger Force. Is another show I wouldn't mind seeing turn into a comic. But we'll see how things go, and I guess depending on how they decide to do things, I'd say it would be a pretty good idea. Alright, so moving on to the Ghostbuster comic. This one is Ghostbusters, What the Samhain. Samhain. I can't talk today. I really can't. What the Samhain is happening. This one is done by IDW Comics. They've done a few that I've reviewed before, especially they're the ones who do the True Blood comic. It's a one-shot comic, basically, and the art is very cartoony, but nice. I mean, they don't do a good enough job making the characters look resembling from the TV show, or cartoon, or the movie, but the style is very cartoony and fun. The story is pretty good. It kind of actually reminds me like an episode of the actual cartoon itself. So the only other thing I have to say, Janine's uniform, it was too skimpy for me. I don't know why. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't mind seeing. I'm not saying I don't mind seeing skimpy girls in outfits. But, you know, especially around this time, I mean, Janine's outfit was just way too skimpy. I mean, and basically in the cartoon, she used to have an actual uniform, and it looked just similar to the guys. But it was just really way too skimpy, and I've noticed that a lot around, especially with this being, since the comic book is taking around the same time as Halloween. So, yeah, the Halloween theme is definitely big on this since it's October. And I've noticed that when I went to a Halloween store, they were just basically all skimpy outfits of for females. And there were, like, sexy doctors, sexy nurse, sexy firemen. I'm just saying I have nothing against that. It's just that it just seems that that's the only comic kind of style that comes out. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. But I will say this, I swear to God, I saw Teen Wolf in this comic. I swear. I saw him and Boof. I swear, I saw him in there. He was in there. And my only other problem with this comic, where the hell was Slimer? There was no Slimer in this. No Slimer. No Slimer in this. I love Slimer. He was like the comic relief. Nothing. He wasn't in there. He wasn't sliming anybody. He wasn't devouring food. No Slimer. It's like he wasn't even in the show or anymore. They took him out. They got rid of him. I don't know why. All right, well, that's pretty much it for tonight. I'm gonna get out of here because I'm exhausted as well. But we'll see how the rest of the week goes for next week. Memory serves me right. I believe the new Deadpool team-up is coming up. And is it is it next month? Next week or the next month? The Marvel Holiday Magazine is coming out. So we'll see what they say for comic book readers and lovers to actually buy next year. I'll see how that goes. So I'll catch you guys during the next week, and have a good night.